Please, Uncle, I'm so confused. I need your help.
Hey guys, and welcome to the episode of A Healthy Dose of Fran. You've just seen the work of Victor Zhang, who is hoping to get the live action role of Zuko, which he definitely deserves because he is amazing. And if you go to the description box down below, you'll find the link to his Instagram where you should go follow and support him because he is a brilliant actor. Which this leads on to today's Avatar episode, which is episode 4, where I'll be looking at Zuko, who had probably the best redemption arc in television history. So that's why today I'll be talking about Zuko and the importance of redemption. Now I know I can be accused here of being very simple in what this character study is about, because Zuko is like the embodiment of redemption, because that's basically his whole character. His whole character is all about redeeming himself from book 1 to book 3, changing himself and changing his views on the world around him and becoming a better person for it. So yes, it's not surprising that this is the character trait that I chose, but it's also so much more than that, because when you look at Zuko's background and how he was raised and the way in which his worldview is, makes his redemption arc even more interesting, because while he grew up under an imperialist regime, he still had compassion, especially for his people. But this was considered a weakness, and as such led to him being challenged by his father in an Agni Kai. Here Zuko was disgraced, dishonoured and scarred. Multiple aspects that would go on to define him. These elements of his character led to him believing that the only way to restore his honour and grace was to capture the Avatar. Capturing the Avatar was the key to fixing everything. And that there is how we are introduced to Zuko, someone who is hell-bent on capturing the Avatar, in restoring his honour, because without doing that, he doesn't know who he is. He is the prince of the Fire Nation, but he is the dishonoured prince at this current point in time. And as everyone knows, honour is all that Zuko is. He believes that his father holds the right to his honour. Only his father can restore his honour, no matter how many times Uncle Iroh tells him that he is the one in control of his honour and his life. Zuko can't believe that, because how could he be in control? Everything that he is everything he's been taught by the Fire Nation. And we start to see him begin to question this way of thinking in the midst of his redemption, particularly in book 2, after he is shown by the Fire Nation that they aren't the greatest nation, they aren't good people. And although in book 1 he was completely believing in the way in which the Fire Nation is and worked, it was only when his own nation turned against him at the very start of book 2 with Azula's attack that this worldview begins to change and begins to be challenged. And throughout book 2 we see Zuko experience so many different things of the outside world, whether it be the episode where he meets Song, a girl who helps him and his uncle and shows the burns that she was given by a Fire Nation soldier, I assume, and the shock on Zuko's face when he realises what happened to her is something that he clearly wasn't expecting. He believed, as most of the Fire Nation do, that they are the greatest nation. They are just wanting to share their greatness with the world. And this is his first evidence of proof that that's not what the Fire Nation are doing. His second part is seeing the refugees that the Fire Nation have caused, the hundreds upon thousands of people who are refugees. And he becomes one of them. He begins to experience what it is like to be a refugee because of the Fire Nation. But still, he is so wrapped up in how he should get his honour back and that his father is the only one to restore it, that he still is disbelieving as to how he can be this better person and how the world works and how the world truly is. And it's only as we see with him freeing Appa from Long Feng, him go through this metamorphosis and this change where he becomes almost a better version of himself, until he has this opportunity to have his father restore his honour and return home. And he betrays his uncle, he betrays everyone, including himself, because he joins Azula. He returns home as the noble and rightful heir to the Fire Nation's throne, and he is considered a hero in his father's eyes. He believes his honour has been restored. But then nothing feels quite right, even on his return to the Fire Nation. And that's because Zuko has seen the way in which the world is, and the Fire Nation have lied to them. He has seen the reality of what they have done, and as much as he tries to fight to believe in the Fire Nation, to be the perfect prince, to not be rejected by his father and the Fire Nation once again, but can't help it. He knows that this is not the right way to be.
Growing up, we were taught that the Fire Nation was the greatest civilization in history. What an amazing lie that was. The people of the world are terrified by the Fire Nation. They don't see our greatness. They hate us. We've created an era of fear in the world. And if we don't want the world to destroy itself, we need to replace it with an era of peace.
And it's here we see the true change in Zuko, because he leaves the Fire Nation to go and teach Aang firebending. And I think the most interesting thing about his character at this point is that we've seen him throughout the entire series struggle to not get his way. When he's being taught by Iroh the firebending techniques, he refuses to stay at the basic level, believing he deserves the advanced teachings, and continues to push and fight for it to get more and more and more. But when he's rejected by the gang, he takes it in his stride. Yes, he is frustrated. Yes, he is angry, but he understands. And that is such a huge difference between him at the start of the series and near the end, because before he would have fought back instantly. He would have charged in, demanded they let him teach Aang. But now he's learnt that this isn't the way to be. He has changed. He knows that this change is the right change to have. And as such, he allows them the time and space that they need to deal with the fact that he is now on their side. And in doing this, he then goes on to support each of them all in different ways. Katara with her mother, Sokka with his failings or believed failings in the Day of Black Sun, and Aang in becoming a firebender and understanding that fire is not destruction. And I think this kind of shows just how much of a difference he made, that his redemption was in the process of completion, because he was showing to each of the people he hurt that he was sorry, and he wanted to make these amends through an actual apology, and also finding something to help the hurt that the Fire Nation has caused them. And I think that is an amazing thing, because this just summarises Zuko as a whole, especially at the end of the series and then going into the comics. He wants to make amends for the damage that the Fire Nation has done. He still wants to find a way for the Fire Nation to make this amends, and he is that starting point, both making the amends to Katara, Sokka, Aang, and later Uncle Iroh. And that moment with Iroh, I think Iroh himself actually sums up the most important thing about Zuko as a character. Now, Zuko had the most amazing arc throughout the entirety of Avatar itself, and it's going from someone who was a banished, broken prince who was hell-bent on revenge and vengeance and was just so angry and bitter, to being someone who understood not only the mistakes they made, the damage that they caused, and learned that they were hurting themselves and they needed to find a way to heal that hurt, both as a person but as a nation, and heal the hurt that they caused to other people in any way that they could. And this arc was the slowest, biggest burn and most amazing arc for redemption that I've ever seen. And to have this end up with Zuko helping everyone, including himself in the very end, I think is what made his redemption the greatest moment on TV. But what do you guys think? Do you agree that Zuko's redemption was the greatest redemption arc? Do you enjoy Zuko's story from book 1 to book 3, including the graphic novels? Let me know in the comment section down below. But in general, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you go to the description box down below, you'll find the links to the clips that I've used in this video, as well as the links to Victor's Instagram, because you guys need to go check him out. His acting is amazing. You'll also find the link to my Instagram and my Patreon, where on Patreon you can get early access to any and all of my videos, as well as have a say as to what comes out in future. Here on YouTube, however, if you guys aren't already subscribed, go to the button down below or click the one popping up here on screen. If you want to check out my previous Avatar videos, the playlist will be popping up here, and then last week's Avatar video will be popping up here. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.